Hello everyone, my name is Luke, aka Mr. Rage, and welcome back to another one of my discussion videos. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am finally back with my discussion videos. And I've also got some good news. I have not only one, not two, not three, but four new discussion videos that are currently in the works here on my channel. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy them. This is going to be the first of those planned for videos. And yeah. Before I start, I would like to give a quick shout out to M64 Bros, Gaming Computers, and my buddy B Coker the Gamer. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into the topic of today's discussion video. Microtransactions, pay to win, and in-game currency. These three things alone is enough to actually make people completely back out from buying any upcoming game that is going to have these three things in it. And yes, I completely understand. One of the reasons why I'm actually making this video is actually because of Rocksteady's upcoming Suicide Squad game, Kill the Justice League, which I will currently have a video coming very, very soon. It's actually in the works, and it's actually the fourth video of the planned videos I plan on making. Spoilers, I guess. Spoilers. I wasn't trying to bring that up, but I guess I accidentally did. I'm a dumbass. But anyways, yes, that game is one of the reasons why I'm making this video. Season passes, microtransactions, pay to win, in-game currency. Oh man, just thinking about this stuff gives me a headache. And I understand why you guys are so much against these things in your games, because I 100% am too. I mean, I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but, you know, me and my family, we're actually low-income people, so I don't have, you know, hundreds of dollars to throw on in-game currency. So yes, this is coming from the perspective of a person who is not very financially stable. But even people who are financially stable will agree that microtransactions in a game that they already paid full price for is extremely absurd and incredibly irritating. And it just really rubs people the wrong way. You know, it's like someone running right into your car with their car, and instead of apologizing, they get out of their car and start blaming you, even though they were the ones who literally ran into your car. You know, it just pisses you off. And, you know, especially when it's in full-priced games. And you see, the thing is, full-price games are no longer $62.99 or $59.99, and with tax like $64 and everything. Like, gaming is getting pretty expensive these days. And not only is gaming getting expensive, but everything is getting a lot more expensive. I'm going to be getting off topic right now, but the state of this country actually has me really fucking concerned. Our economy is still in a very bad place. Inflation is still hurting people like me who are low income. And people are out there working 9 to 5 jobs, you know, 40 hours a week, and not only are they working their asses off like slaves, but they're not even making enough money to come home after working all those hours to pay for most necessary things, like, you know, food, you know, all that stuff. And, you know, of course, you've got bills on top of that. You've got bills, you've got food, you know, you've got insurance, you've got health insurance. I mean, it's so many things. I mean, life these days, it's like being stuck under the water, and every single time you try and swim back to the surface, these big fucking gigantic boulders are just all piled on top of you, just keeping you down and not only hurting you, but also drowning you and slowly killing you. I mean, that's what it's like out there these days for someone who doesn't have hundreds of dollars growing off of their trees outside of their billion-dollar mansions. Yes, the rich people are pretty much in control of everything. They have everything, and they are living the American dream that never even really existed. The American dream only existed for people like them. They made up that concept because they were living it themselves. But the American dream is not even a real thing for 90% of people in this entire country, because it's just too hard to get. It's like trying to find a piece of gold that is invisible. You know, it's nearly impossible to find that. So I know I'm getting off topic here, but what I'm trying to say is that things are very, very expensive in today's world. It's hard to survive. It's hard to make good enough money to, you know, live comfortably and financially stably. You know, it's just very hard out there. And this is one of the reasons why I'm making this video, besides the whole Suicide Squad thing. Gaming is getting very expensive, and before I say anything else, people are definitely going to be like, well, Mr. Rage, if you're talking about how hard it is for people to survive, then you do realize that video game companies also got to make their money, right? And let me say that you are 1000% correct. Companies need to make money or else they will no longer be a company. That is extremely true, and it's very accurate, and it's something that we just have to live with. Companies need to make their money, and we as the consumer give them their money for the things that they give us. But those things that they give us actually have to be worth our money, and that's the difference between a shitty company like Nintendo, for example, and a good company like Microsoft or Sony. You see, I actually want to give I want to talk about Game Pass real quick here, because you see, the thing about Game Pass is Game Pass has actually saved me a lot of money, and it's actually one of the only reasons why I still play on my Xbox. You know, subscription services in general, I feel like are doing a decent job at actually helping a lot of people out here save money. Because you see, the thing is, like, you know, like I was saying earlier, especially for people who have a family, like, when you have a family, not only are you working to put food on the table for yourself, but you gotta work for so many more long and hard, painful hours to put food on the table for not only you, but your whole family. You know, your wife, your kids. I mean, I truly do feel bad for people out there who have families. Like, I honest to God, really do. Like, my heart 100% goes out to all you people who are struggling out there and have families that are struggling with you, because, you know, they got to eat. You guys got to have a roof over your heads. You got to have your lights, your gas, your heating. You got to have your health insurance. You got to have all that shit. And I truly do feel very sorry for you people. I hope to God that you are making enough money to live comfortably and financially well enough to, you know, be happy in this godforsaken country that we unfortunately all have to live in and bear with all of the horrible things that happen in this fucking country. Anyways, yeah, so gaming is getting very expensive. Video games these days no longer cost the typical $62, $63, $99. Gaming these days cost, honestly, like, just for video games individually, like an individual video game will cost you close to $100. And again, about the whole Game Pass and PlayStation Plus thing, this is subscription services. Like, I'm thankful for subscription services to a certain extent. I do feel like PlayStation Plus is still overpriced, but, you know, Game Pass has, like I said, Game Pass has saved me a lot of money. It's the only reason why I still play on my Xbox, because, you know, being able to play some new games and being able to enjoy some new games without worrying about how I'm gonna even get them in the first place because of my own financial situations. Game Pass has definitely kind of it's definitely eased the pain of what someone like me goes through in today's world, where money is such an important thing, while at the same time being such a hard thing to come by when you're not making enough at a 9-to-5 job where you gotta work 40 hours a week. So I am very thankful for Xbox Game Pass, and I'm still thankful to Microsoft for making it. And, you know, runaway train. Anyways, God, such random shit happens around here. I'm in a good mood tonight. Anyways, yeah, I'm thankful for gaming subscription services, because, you know, for the most part, they are affordable. Game Pass is obviously more affordable than PlayStation Plus, but whether you're on Xbox or PlayStation, subscription services have definitely saved me and a lot of people a lot of money, including one of my friends who was actually in a video with me this evening. B Coker Gamer, he actually has PlayStation Plus Premium, and he gets access to a lot of games, and he is like me. He is unfortunately not very financially well. He's low income, I guess you can say. So, my friend, as well as me, we're good examples of, subscription services actually helping a lot of people. So, Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, these things, I am thankful for these things because, at the end of the day, although we're still paying money, a decent amount of money, or, if you have like one of the better subscription services from PlayStation, I guess a larger sum of money. I believe like PlayStation Plus Premium for like 3 months is like $24.99, which is actually not too bad, but I'm getting off topic again. I am thankful for those things. Now, getting back to the whole video games and the companies that make them, video games are very expensive in 2024. They were expensive in 2023. They were expensive in 2022. Ever since the COVID pandemic started and, the economy started, getting flushed down the toilet by Joe Biden and all these fucking Democrats, the economy has really affected the gaming industry, because this is the reason why video game prices are increasing. Because if the economy is struggling and if companies and people are struggling to make the money that is required for them to continue to function as companies and for people to, pay for all of their necessities, this will affect the gaming industry greatly. If the economy is struggling like that, then yes, the gaming industry is going to struggle as a result as well, because, the economy is basically like, it's what keeps everything here running. Without the economy, there would be no companies, there would be no money. So this is the reason why gaming is getting so expensive. And, the biggest problem that, that I'm seeing, the biggest problem that's affecting me is the fact that it's not just video games that are getting so expensive. It's the fact that everything is getting so expensive. And, this is one of the reasons why I was thankful for things like Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, because these things ease the pain, because you still get to play a good amount of games for free, and that's great. But even then, shit these days is just way too fucking expensive. The fact that even the cost of living is this expensive, the cost of living is becoming unaffordable, and that's actually both depressing and scary all at the same time. The fact that the cost of basic living is now becoming unaffordable for so many people in this country, a country that's supposed to be so well developed, and a country that's supposed to have a government that's supposed to take care of them, that's supposed to prevent things like this from happening, and yet not only are they happening, but they're happening tenfold worse than anyone could have predicted. Because, we've had economic struggles before, we've had problems with the economy, we've had problems financially, but I feel like it is a lot worse than it's ever been. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if another Great Depression happens in the next couple of years if the economy continues to be as bad as it is now. But I truly do feel bad for my own people of this country. Like, I may not be like, a full American. Like, yeah, I was born in Mexico, or I wasn't born in Mexico, but, that's where my family comes from. And I may not be a full American, but still, like, I still see the people of this country as my own, and I feel bad for my fellow Americans, because it's a truly sad and unfortunate situation that we all are in right now. I mean, I see people, not just my friends, not just myself, but I see so many people out there struggling just to make even the basic ends meet, and all I can do is just sit there hopelessly watching them while I myself continue to struggle myself, because I'm going through the exact same shit that they're going through. And this fucking economy and Joe Biden and Carmel Harris, or not Carmel, Carmelo? Carmo? Camel? No, not Camel. The fuck? I forgot her name. Camel Harry, I think her name is. I don't know what her fucking name is, okay? I gotta take a drink. I don't even know I forgot her fucking name. I don't know, Camel Toes, whatever the fuck her name is. This country is struggling. It's struggling financially. Our economy is struggling. You've got all these fucking politics and everyone is so divided. You know, COVID is still spreading. I mean, this is why I actually stopped making videos, because I am under a ton of stress. All of this shit that I'm seeing, it hurts. Like, my anxiety levels are at an all-time high. Like, they're through the roof at this point. Like, they're above this level. They're all the way up here. Like, I am struggling with my anxiety, and you know, I struggle with my anxiety, and then I struggle with everything else as well. And this is one of the reasons why microtransactions are such a big problem for me. You know, now that I've explained why, you know, now that I've explained the whole economy situation and how it's hard for people to make money, how would you feel knowing that not only would you have to work a long hour shifts at work, not even making enough money to make ends meet, and you like video games? I mean, who doesn't? I mean, video games are the things that are supposed to take our minds off of all of this bullshit that we go through in this fucking world. All of this country's heartaches that are inflicted upon so many of us. Video games and entertainment in general is supposed to be that one thing that we can come home to and just relax, unwind, and try and enjoy ourselves and forget about the harshness of reality for just those precious couple of hours or even minutes, however long we get to enjoy whatever we enjoy doing when we get home, either from our long hour shifts at work or from our stressful times at school, or whatever we're doing that stresses us out and causes us extreme heartache, pain, suffering, and misery. Video games are one of those things that ease that pain and suffering. Not only does it ease that pain and suffering, but this may sound sad for people who don't play video games, but it truly does make people like us happy. It makes us feel happy to be alive. It makes us feel happy to be doing something that makes us happy in the first place. Yeah, people who don't play video games would be like, video games are for losers. You know, only losers play video games. And yeah, you go outside, ride a bike, and fall off of a cliff like fucking Squidward from SpongeBob SquarePants. I'm sorry, I just had to bring that up. But no. I have been playing video games ever since I crawled out of my mom's asshole, and I've never stopped then. I've owned every fucking console. I've played some of the best games, and I have played video games, like I just said, for pretty much ever since I was a kid, a little small kid. So to see this crap happening with the gaming industry, it's like getting kicked in the nuts by a woman in high heels. It fucking hurts like hell. It really does hurt, because, you know, this is something that I am not only passionate about, but guys, I'm gonna get a little personal with you. My life is not very good, and I am not very happy where I currently am. I'm sure some of you guys could probably already see that in some of the things that I've been saying in this video, and maybe even in my previous videos. I am not a very happy person. You know, at least not now. I'm not a very happy person. You know, I try and stay positive. I try and think more optimistic about the future, but it's really hard to do so when everything is so bad. You know, when things are so bad now, it's kind of hard to think better for the future, even if you think you can make your life better when it's just so bad now, and you feel helpless knowing that you can't improve your life because of things that are preventing that. You know, for example, me, you know, my parents are the ones who are ruining my life, and I can't do anything about that because I'm still 17. I'm hoping that when I turn 18, I can maybe make some changes, some drastic changes that can make me a little less depressed. But for now, that's just not going to happen. And this is one of the reasons why I've loved video games. I loved video games when I was a kid because they were such amazing experiences for me. They blew my little fucking brain out of my little fucking head when I was just a little kid. And that's why I loved video games. These days, I love video games for the same reasons, but also because they do a good job at, easing my anxiety and reminding me that there are still things in life to look forward to besides all of the hardship and misery that we're forced to go through in our everyday life and society. So, that's one of the reasons why I love video games today. So, yeah, this, I've really kind of gotten off topic. So, you know what? I'm just going to get right back into it. Why are microtransactions so bad? Well, the first reason why microtransactions are bad is because video games are now costing 74 fucking dollars. And that right there is crazy and extremely absurd. Because $74 just for one game, to me, that is not only overpriced, but it's also ridiculous. But at the same time, I understand why video game developers have to do this. Going back to the whole economy thing, making video games in 2024 and even back in 2022 and 3 and even 1, making video games these days is a hell of a lot harder than it was just a couple of years ago. And one of the reasons for that is because of how big video games are getting due to next-gen consoles and more powerful PCs being made. Obviously, people are going to want to see bigger and better video games with better graphics, more realism, more details, more advanced gameplay, better looking characters. I mean, GTA 6 is not even out yet, and it already looks like one of the best games ever made because of its graphics. I mean, games are getting bigger and better in literally every single way. From the smallest to the biggest aspects, gaming is getting a whole lot bigger, and because of that, video game developers are going to not only need to work much harder, much more sleepless days and, tireless hours, but also it's also because of, financially as well. You've got sleepless nights, you've got developers who are going to have to put their heart, soul, blood, and tears into these games that they're making, but, obviously this shit is not free. So these developers and these companies, they got to make their money from somewhere. They got to make their money from somewhere, because if video game companies and developers were not bumping up the prices for their games, then I do not believe that they would be able to make all these bigger and better games. And, that's not what I'm complaining about. I just want people to know that, because that's not what I'm complaining about. I want bigger and better games. I don't mind paying $74 despite my financial problems. I'm hoping that in the future I can actually fix that. I hope that all of us can. I hope this economy starts booming again, and I hope people can actually live happily in this country again. So that's not the problem, okay? I get it. That's not my problem, okay? I want games to get bigger and better. I don't mind paying $74 despite how ridiculous it may seem. It's ridiculous because of how bad our situation is right now. That's why it's kind of ridiculous, because of how bad our financial situation is right now. And 74 is a bit too much in my opinion. I think maybe 60, 65, 66 could have been better. But anyways, that's not my problem. Despite me not liking it, I understand. But microtransactions, this is the biggest pain in the ass that I have with modern gaming. You see, if video games didn't cost as much as they did now, then microtransactions, they would still be an inconvenience, they would still be bad, they would still be all that. But the fact that games are getting so much more expensive now just says a whole lot more about how much of a problem microtransactions have become. Because let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, video games not only are costing $74, but now we also have special editions. I haven't seen a single new video game come out that didn't have some special edition that came with extra DLC. So these extra DLC bundle packs that these games are getting, they cost around $89. Some cost fucking $100. Video games are already coming to that price. They're already coming to the price of over $100 fucking dollars just for some extra DLC. Not a lot, just some extra DLC. Either beating some kind of in-game weapons or currency or season pass or whatever. Video games are becoming extremely expensive, and The fact that we have microtransactions to accompany these video game bundles now, which are costing people $100 fucking, this is one of the other reasons why I have a problem with microtransactions and why you should as well. Unless, of course, you're one of the rich elites who runs this place. If you're one of those people, then you don't gotta worry about shit. You probably not even watching this video right now. Like you're probably, I don't know, watching Hell's Kitchen right now because you're rich and you got nothing better to do. So that's not what this video is for. This video is for people like me and for people who are trying to make ends meet. But even for people who do have money, even if you are making great money, let's say you're actually wealthy, even if you are wealthy, even if you are actually are making great money, would you actually still want to pay that much money just for all this crap? Like, really, would you still want to pay all that money for these type of developers? Because you see, these type of developers, let me explain real quick why microtransactions are actually a bad thing. But before I do, let me quickly explain how microtransactions can actually be used in a better way. Now, first off, I don't think microtransactions should be in full-priced games. And if they have to be in full-price games, like the yearly Call of Duty games or just any other type of game, if you're gonna have microtransactions in games, they should not cost more than $5 fucking. Like, if a game costs $74, and especially if you have bundle packs that cost up to $89.99 that come with extra DLC already included, then microtransactions should not cost any more than $5, $4.99. Because the fact that these games are already full price, meaning that you already pay a hell of a lot of money for them, the fact that you have microtransactions that can cost more than the actual fucking game itself, that right there is completely fucking absurd. Because like I said, you're already paying top dollar for these games. You've already got bundle packs that can cost up to over $100 fucking. So the fact that you've got microtransactions for in-game currency to buy overpriced in-game items that can cost more than the actual game itself, that right there is fucking ridiculous. I mean, you've got some microtransactions out here that can cost up to $60, the same price as, actually no, almost the same price as games, because I almost forgot, games don't even cost $60 anymore. Games cost over $74 now, or just over $70 now. I mean, microtransaction bundles, because like you've got like, let's see, you've got like packs, you know, you've got some that cost like $20, $49.99, $29.99. Then you've got the most expensive pack, which gives you a shit ton of currency for like $99.99, you know, $100. I mean, you know, GTA Online is a good example of that. You know, I'll be using both GTA and Call of Duty as example of that. Call of Duty points in Call of Duty can cost up to $100. And yes, you do get a shit ton amount of Call of Duty points, but still $100? And Call of Duty right now, buying Call of Duty, spending money on Call of Duty right now is like going over to a farmer's ranch and giving him $74 for the shit that his farm animals just took right in front of you. Because Call of Duty right now literally is just that. Call of Duty is fucking pig cow shit. And the fact that even Call of Duty these days costs so much fucking money. And then, of course, you've got bundle packs in there, microtransaction bundle packs that can cost up to $100. And the game already costs like, what, $74.99? Or if you're an extra big tryhard, you could buy the fucking $89.99 bundle pack, which will come with some extra DLCs for you. Oh, and why not spend up to $200 on a game, buy the fucking $89.99 pack of Call of Duty, and then spend $100 on fucking in-game currency on the microtransactions? You see, honestly, these people right here, these fucking people, the people who spend this money on microtransactions, I've asked you guys this before, and I'm going to ask you guys this again. Why? Wouldn't you rather spend all that money on more games? Like, you would rather spend up to $100 or even $60, even $29.99 is a bit too much. You would spend all that extra cash on a game that you already brought just for in-game currency. Now, look, I'm trying not to be judgmental here. You know, I'm really trying, but The thing about me is when I don't understand why people would do something that I don't get, I just get genuinely curious. Like, I am. Like, I'm not being judgmental. I am genuinely asking you people, why do you do it? Do you care that much about the game that you already spent full price for, that you now want to spend even more money on something that you don't even need? We'll get to that in a minute, because of course we've got pay to win garbage in here as well. We'll get to that in a minute, but I'm just genuinely curious, why do you people spend all that? I mean, you must got a lot of fucking money to spend. Like, I'm just gonna leave it at that. You guys must be having a great job. You must be making a shit ton of good money. You guys must be living half of the American dream that I was talking about earlier in this video, because if you guys can afford to spend up to over $200 on these type of fucking video games, I guess I applaud you. Bravo, I guess. And you see, thankfully, the thing about these type of games is, thankfully, these microtransactions are mostly in online games, online multiplayer games. I mean, that's why you've got in-game currency, because, of course, 99% of online multiplayer games are also live service. And, honestly, like, the bad part is I don't even have a problem with live service games. Like, I actually kind of like live service games. Dying Light is a good example of that. That's the game that I'm currently playing right now. I enjoyed Dying Light, and yes, it was a live service game. And this actually brings me back to the point I was trying to make about how microtransactions can actually be used to make, how microtransactions can actually be good. Okay, so here's what I think. Here's what I think. If you're gonna have microtransactions in any game, they should not cost more than $5, or even 10. The highest amount of currency I can buy on microtransactions should be no more than $20. $20 should give you everything. It should give you the most currency. That right there would actually be quite balanced, because think about it. You've got in-game currency, microtransactions that can cost $4.99. Then you've got some that can cost $9.99, maybe even a reasonable $15.99, and then the highest amount would be $19.99. If microtransactions costed no more than $19.99, and if that gave you the most shit, like if that gave you like a bunch of in-game currency, I think microtransactions would actually be liked. Like, honestly, like, I don't think most people would mind spending $20 on some in-game currency. And because, like, the reason why people don't like microtransactions is because of how overpriced they are. I mean, don't even get me started on EA. Like, I don't even got to talk about EA. Everyone already knows about how bad EA's microtransactions are. Okay? You literally got to pay $5 just to open up the game. Like, you got to pay $5 just to launch the fucking game. Like, any game from EA, you have to pay a fee just to actually launch the game itself. And then you'll have to pay a bunch of other money for a bunch of other shit. All jokes aside, if microtransactions didn't cost more than $20, I am actually really sure, I'm actually confident that people would actually not mind microtransactions at all. But anyways, like I was saying, about the whole live service things, microtransactions are mostly in live service games, online multiplayer games and, stuff like that. And that brings me to my next problem. And that is, of course, the whole pay to win thing. And, one thing that makes this crap even worse is that most of these online multiplayer games that are filled to the brim with these pay to win microtransactions, this is usually why these games are often sweaty. Because in these type of online multiplayer games, it's not just Call of Duty, by the way. Like, Call of Duty can be used as a good example of what I'm trying to say here, but there are plenty of other online multiplayer games that are just as bad, if not worse, than Call of Duty's microtransaction / pay-to-win system. They're pay-to-win, they're full of microtransactions, and they're actually sweaty and competitive because of all the microtransactions. Because you see, the thing is, in these type of games, you are forced to grind for hours upon hours on end for in-game currency. And in order to make that in-game currency, you got to play really, really good. You got to play really, really competitively to earn all that in-game currency. And that's why games like Call of Duty are so fucking competitive. Like, people always ask me, like, why is Call of Duty so sweaty, Mr. Rage? Like, why are people so sweaty? Why don't people just play the game more casually? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why right now. The reasons why Call of Duty is so sweaty is, well, of course you've got tryhards who take the game way too seriously, but then, of course, you've also, sorry about the flip off, by the way. I'm flipping off tryhards, by the way. Tryhards are... I'll save them for another video, but one of the reasons why games like Call of Duty, multiplayer games, one of the reasons why online multiplayer games like Call of Duty are so sweaty is because people need to compete, because that's how you've got to grind in multiplayer games like Call of Duty. Because if you're not playing to win, then you can't pay to win. That's why you've got to play to win. That's why you've got to play those type of games so fucking competitively. Because if you're not making enough in-game currency, then you'll be forced to buy fucking microtransactions. You'll be forced to buy those Call of Duty points. You'll be forced to buy some shark cards. You'll be forced to buy some RXLs in Dead by Daylight. Because, of course, even Dead by Daylight has that shit as well. Dead by Daylight is still one of the worst games ever made, by the way. Still. But Dead by Daylight is such a garbage game. You could expect some Dead by Daylight themed discussion videos in the next couple of days, by the way. Little hint. Anyways, so yeah. You know, and this is actually why these developers put microtransactions in online games. This is why so many online multiplayer games are pay to win, because online multiplayer games are competitive. So if you make it competitive, and if you make people sweat and try hard to make in-game currency, then that's basically how all this bullshit works, you know? Because you've got to make the game pay to win first. Like that's how you do it. You make the game pay to win, right? You make it extremely hard to earn in-game currency by just playing the game casually. So then the game gets sweatier and sweatier, the community gets sweatier and sweatier, people start getting more competitive, and most of the time they're not competitive because they actually care about the game. They're playing like that. They're playing to win because they gotta earn that in-game currency, because not even they want to spend all that money on in-game currency. So yeah, that's mostly the reasons why 99% of online multiplayer competitive games are full to the brim with microtransactions, because this system that all these greedy ass developers have, it just simply works, you know? You want to earn some new guns in Call of Duty, you want to get some new skins in Fortnite, you want to, you know, like, even though I don't play Fortnite, but, you know, still a good example, you know, you want all that cool shit and all those cool ass multiplayer games you play, well, you gotta play sweaty so you can earn that in-game currency. Unless you want to take out your credit card and, you know, spend some real money on fake money or fake currency in a game. And, you know I talk a lot about GTA Online, but GTA Online is another great example of what I'm trying to say here. You see, in GTA Online, Rockstar basically makes you suffer for money. Because I actually said this earlier in one of my previous videos. In GTA Online, you can either do two things to make money. Either you can spend hundreds of dollars on in-game currency to get what you want in GTA Online, or if you don't want to do that, you could spend hundreds of hours grinding for in-game currency in GTA Online to get what you want. Both are no good. Both scenarios are not going to play out well for you, because obviously either you got to spend a shit ton of money on shark cards, or you got to grind for hours upon hours on end just to make enough money just to buy one fucking thing. And you'll be lucky if it doesn't cost over $1 million fucking dollars, because of course every single thing in GTA Online is extremely overpriced, because Rockstar are a bunch of greedy fucking twats. And you see, again, when it comes to the whole pay-to-win thing, this is how greedy developers also force microtransactions on people. They make everything in the game. They make all the in-game items, whether it be guns in Call of Duty or every fucking thing in GTA Online, extremely expensive. And then they also make it hard to earn the in-game currency without spending $1 on the in-game currency's microtransaction system. This is how they basically force microtransactions on you. You make everything extremely expensive, and you make it hard to earn in-game currency. Great fucking system. Rockstar, Activision, EA, all three of you can take turns sucking my fucking cock. You fucking pieces of shit. God, I hate you people. God damn you people. And again, the reasons why this pisses me off is because of how unnecessary it is. Let me ask you, how much money is Rockstar earning? Rockstar Games right now is probably making more money than this country's entire fucking government system. If Rockstar Games wanted to pay off the US's national debt, they probably could, because of how much money they are making daily. They're making billions of dollars daily, so imagine how much they're making yearly. Rockstar Games probably has more money than any other video game company in the entire gaming industry. So tell me, why the fuck is it that they gotta make even more? Why is it they gotta milk us even more? We're like dead fucking cows that are still being milked by a corrupt, greedy farmer who still wants milk out of an already dead cow. That's basically what we are to all these fucking greedy ass developers, because they don't need to have all this shit. Like, look, I know I just got done explaining how the economy is struggling and all that crap, but there is plenty of alternatives to stop being so anti-consumer and actually still earn money from us, the gamer, while not treating us like fucking morons and fucking sheep and dead cows. We're tired of being milked like cows, and we're tired of being treated like stupid fucking sheep. Gamers need to rise up. All of you need to rise up. Only we can stop all of this dumb-ass bullshit that is ruining our video games. Because if we take away these people's money, they will not be able to force all this crap on us anymore. But I just realized something. That's probably never going to happen, because people are never going to stop doing this. It doesn't matter how many people hate microtransactions. It doesn't matter how many people like me despise microtransactions like this. It's never going to stop. People are always going to spend money on microtransactions, and people are always going to support these in-game scams pretty much, because people are stupid. Some people will realize that they are being treated like sheep and milked like dead cows, and unfortunately others will remain as dumb as sheep, and they'll stay there as dead cows and will continue to be milked even if they've been milked dry. I mean, I've seen fucking Call of Duty nerds struggle to live financially, just like all those poor people I was talking about earlier, except for these motherfuckers actually do have money to live, but instead they would rather spend all that money just so they could have new skins in Call of Duty or Fortnite. It's never gonna stop. The reasons why these goddamn developers can continue to do this to us is because it is simply never going to stop. These microtransactions, they're just going to continue to get more expensive. Like, honestly, mark my words, correct me if I'm wrong in the future, microtransactions will continue to get even more expensive, because think about it. If video games in general are also becoming more expensive, then it only makes sense that the in-game microtransactions and in-game currencies that come with them are also going to get more expensive with them. Like right now, we have microtransaction bundle packs that can cost up to $100. I bet sometime in the future, there will be microtransaction bundle packs that will cost up to $225. I'm probably close. I mean, if these fucking developers can get away with selling people microtransactions that could cost up to $100 fucking dollars, then you could bet your fucking fat ass that they could also do it with even more expensive microtransactions, like either $200 or, goddamn, I wouldn't be surprised if they had $300 microtransactions. Imagine paying the same amount of money for a console on microtransactions. You can buy an Xbox Series S or one of these pieces of junk, but you could spend $300 on fucking Call of Duty points or any other type. And you see, another thing about this crap is every single time a video game company does something shitty, if they actually get away with it, and if they don't face enough backlash to stop their greedy fucking business practices, again, you could bet your fat ass that every other developer and every other company will follow in their slimy, stinky, piece of shit fucking footsteps. Because if one company can get away with treating us like shit, then so could the other ones. Because at the end of the day, all of these companies, even the companies that we love, at the end of the day, all they care about is making money. That's all that's on their minds, and that is their primary objective. And they will fulfill that objective one way or another. But the reason why microtransactions are so bad is because there's so many better ways to make enough money to remain as a financially stable company while not treating us like shit. You know, back to my whole microtransaction thing. Microtransactions should not be in full price games. Now, what about free games? When it comes to free games, I actually do not mind microtransactions in free games. You know, games like Apex Legends, Fortnite, or Warzone, I don't mind microtransactions in those games because they are free to play 100%. But even games that are not fully priced, like a game that's like $39.99, even $19.99. I mean, if you're gonna have microtransactions, fine, but number one, don't make them cost more than $19, $20. And again, the worst thing is the fact that these companies, these developers, they basically force it on you. They all use the same fucking business strategy as well. You make all the in-game items really expensive with the in-game currency, and then you also make it hard to earn that in-game currency to buy those overpriced items with the in-game currency. And another thing I actually forgot to mention is they actually have another way of forcing these shitty microtransactions on you. If you don't buy the in-game items and you just use the default in-game items, most of the time, these in-game items will basically work like shit. Like the default guns you get in Call of Duty, or the shitty cars in GTA Online that are not too expensive, you know, just shit like that. All of the generic items that are in these games, they're made like that on purpose. They're made like that to encourage you, the player, to either cough up the money to buy microtransactions and buy one of the in-game items with the in-game currency, or to encourage you to grind for hours upon hours on end. Now, what if a game, like a multiplayer game with these shitty business practices, what if the grinding was actually fun? What if the grinding wasn't stressful or hard or repetitive? Even then, honestly, I still have a bit of a problem with that. I think if developers would give you more ways to earn in-game currency, like besides just grinding, you know, but like besides just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again, then maybe then that would kind of improve it. But as of right now, it's not fun to grind in these type of games because, like I said, they make grinding in these games difficult on purpose. They make it hard, they make it difficult, they make it repetitive. And surprisingly, they only give you one way to grind. Like in a lot of these games, like in a lot of these online competitive games that all these microtransactions are in, there's no other way to grind. Like there's no other ways to make the in-game currency except for just the same thing you've been doing ever since you even started playing the game in the first place. If they would give you more ways to make money, like in-game currency, I mean, then maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Like, it probably wouldn't be so bad then. But, yeah, this is the problem with microtransactions in gaming, and this is how microtransactions basically ruins video games. And yes, I understand that this is mostly just in online games, but unfortunately, microtransactions are even starting to spread to even single-player games. I also do have a problem with live service games as well. Imagine buying a game, right? And imagine them only giving you half of the game now and then making you wait to pay for the other half later on. Like, it's basically like that one moment. Like, remember when fucking Gordon Ramsay went to that one shitty fake fancy restaurant and the lady gave him only one piece of his dessert, and then they made him pay for the other half. Like, they made him pay extra for the other half, and it was like this small little sad looking piece of chocolate cake, and they only gave him one half of it, and then they made him pay for the other half. That's basically what these live service games are kind of like now, because they'll sell you half of the game now, right? They'll sell you half of the game now, and then they'll make you buy the other half in the form of DLC or, of course, a season pass. Which is, again, that's also really fucking shitty. And then another thing that I actually forgot to mention is locking content behind a paywall. You see, this is actually worse than grinding for in-game currency to buy the in-game weapons, because at least you can actually make the in-game currency to buy some of the cool and overpriced in-game currency. But then when you have items that are specifically locked behind a paywall where you have absolutely no choice at all but to buy extra DLC or just more in-game currency, that's also extremely scummy. Now, thankfully, again, this is mostly just in online games, but unfortunately for us, this is also starting to make its way into single-player games as well, which is what will be the topic of the next discussion video, which will be coming very, very soon. But, yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. This was my first major long discussion video after a long time, and I definitely had fun making it. I'd also like to give one last shout out to one of my good friends, Jake Wolf. Definitely, well, he actually doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he's like an artist or something. He's also gay, so definitely check him out. Jake, if you're watching this, I hope you I hope you got the shout out. I hope you stuck by long enough to hear the shout out. And yeah, I fully support you being gay, by the way, 100%. Anyways, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I definitely did. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next discussion video, which will be coming very, very soon. So yeah, take care, y'all. Peace.